sit here. Don't worry. Don't worry. Let's leave those aside.
Kuna share na namwambia
Mwana famille. Famille bonga kaboye. Famille bezala kaboye. Bala tata pe mama o.
Mic check 1 2.
Sorry?
Mic check.
Sorry?
Mic check.
Yeah.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
It's called Mayaka. Sawa.
Guys, we are almost starting. The president is going to come. So let's take the patient.
No. Put the chairs here. Where am I sitting? I've got them there on the side. Yeah, put the chair. President Kanizan.
Mic check. Mic check.
Sorry.
Mic
Can I
check.
get for President?
Mic check. 1, 2.
President,
1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. Microphone check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
we just need one more chair. Just give me one chair there. That one. Yeah, yeah.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Microphone check. Microphone check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Microphone check. Kuangalia mitambo. Kuangalia mitambo. Microphone check. 1, 2. 1, 2. 3, 4. Microphone check. 1, 2. 3, 4. Microphone check. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Okay, we have to start now.
3, 4.
Just need to give them a chance just to quickly finalize it. 1 minute will start.
3, 3, 4. Microphone check. Check, 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 check. Kuangalia mtambo. Kuangalia mitambo. We are good?
Can I record this microphone, please? Can I just ask everyone to just please, can I ask all the members of the media, please, and the gentleman in the middle, if you don't mind moving this way, because we've got a live, this press conference is on a live stream, so we've got a global feed, so you'll, and please, if you are in the middle, don't stand up, we've got a live feed on them in the middle, so if you can just, okay, can I just ask everyone just to please put your cell phone on silent for the next 30 minutes, hopefully. And then I'm just going to get a signal from the international feed guys, and then we'll start in a second or so. All right, good afternoon and welcome to Nairobi, Kenya, to the post-CAF Executive Committee meeting. It's the first time we have an executive committee meeting here in Nairobi in Kenya. So thank you very much to the members of the media that are not just from Kenya, because I know that Nairobi is home to a lot of international agencies. So we welcome everybody here. And thank you very much. It's a great opportunity for CAF to interact with people in East Africa and the media here ahead of Pamoja in AFCON 2027. I would like to welcome the CAF executive committee members, starting with our president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, the vice president, President Sengo, the second vice president in absentia was not here. The third vice president is President Waberi. Fourth vice president is President Seido. And of course, the fifth vice president is here, which is Madame Kanizat. And also the General Secretary of CAF joining us here for this press conference. Without wasting much time, I would like to hand over now to the CAF President, Dr. Patrice Motsepe, to give us an overview. President.
Thanks, Lutolo. And let me first start by expressing my deep gratitude to President Ruto for the inspiring message that he gave this morning to the leadership of CAF, and thank the government of Kenya, the people of Kenya, and Nick is not here, and the president of the Kenyan Football Federation. And before I continue, just express my deep gratitude to my first Vice President, Augustin Senghor. Thank you so much for your good work and your leadership, and President, Vice President Waberi, thank you so much, and President Seido, Vice President Seido, and our Madame Kanizal. Merci, Madame. And thanks to the Secretary General and to the staff of CAF. Yesterday, I visited 3 stadiums, Kasanari, I visited Nyayo, I visited Talanta, and very, very impressed with the commitment, also the progress. I saw at Kasanari, the very good work, the upgrading work, the renovations, the upgrading that has been taking place there. I'm very pleased with what I saw. And then I went to Nyayo to go and see a few minutes after the match. Kenya is a football loving country. Thank you, the President of Angola Football Federation, as well as the President of COSAFA for being here, and all the EXCO members. And then I went to see Talanta Stadium, which is world class. The construction that's taking place. I'm very proud as an African, and I think all of us, today, when we're today we are all Kenyans. When we're in any country of Africa, all of us, from every part of Africa, we are part of that country, and we are part of the people of that country. I am deeply grateful to President Ruto for his commitment to Kenyan football and for the huge amount of resources that's being spent to upgrade the stadiums for CHAN next year in February 2025, as well as the world-class stadium that's being built, which will be ready for for AFCON 2027. Of course, we are talking about football, and football is our life, and we are passionate about football. But you also feel proud of the quality of leadership, African leadership, that President Ruto represents. And you, at the peak of the stadium at Talanta, about 5,000 people will be employed, and that is so beautiful. There are way in excess of 1,000 that are currently employed. So with football goes job creation, goes investment. With football comes job creation, comes investment, economic, socio-economic upliftment. And we've got a clear understanding of how football brings our people together from different ethnic groups, different racial backgrounds, and different religious backgrounds. So I want to conclude by expressing my confidence that the CHAN next year in Kenya, in Tanzania, in Uganda will be the very best in the history of Nick, good to see you. I was talking about you, and good to see you. And thanks for the good work that you are doing. It's going to be the very best CHAN next year. And I'll talk about the other competitions next year, later, but to also express my personal gratitude to the President of Tanzania, Madam Samia, and to President Museveni of Uganda for their passion and for their commitment. I'll also be visiting those countries. I'll be back in Kenya in December to see the huge progress that will have been made, and I'm very happy with the progress that's been made. This country has got exceptional, talented athletes. This country has got exceptional football players. And I can tell you, the CHAN and the CAN is going to contribute to the young Kenyan players who are going to be not just amongst the best in Africa, but also amongst the best in the world. Because the people of Kenya have got a God-given athletic ability. And that athletic ability combined with the exceptional football talent, I'm very confident that this football in this country will continue to grow. And Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda will do well in the CHAN. 3 other quick remarks before I leave. The first is to say that Veron, the CAF's General Secretary, spent the last few days in Kinshasa, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, let me make it very clear that the people of Congo are deep in my heart, have been in my heart, and will always be in my heart. A deep commitment from CAF and from me personally to work together with President Tshisekedi, the government of the DRC. We took the Ordinary General Assembly to the Democratic Republic of Congo because we wanted to send a message to the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo, but also to the people of the continent, that we have a deep, deep commitment and a deep love for every single country on this continent, every single one of the 54 nations that are part of AFCON. And it saddens me that because of the mpox, we have had to move it. So the 46th CAF annual or CAF Ordinary General Assembly will take place in Ethiopia. And we will give you, it'll most probably be a week after, because we've got the FIFA competitions, the FIFA week, and it's a bit of a challenge to expect our member association presidents to focus on making sure that their national teams qualify for Morocco. There's a huge amount of excitement because it's part of their competition. And at the same time having them to focus on the work of CAF. So my deep gratitude to President Tshisekedi, the government of the DRC, the people of the DRC for their cooperation and the help that they provided to, and their commitment to the Ordinary General Assembly. And we will find opportunities in future to make sure that events of CAF take place in a very talented country with very talented people and great Africans. So we'll provide more detail, but the Ordinary General Assembly, as I said, will take place in Addis Ababa, and it'll be most probably a week after the 10th of October, but we'll give more information in due course. The other point that came out of this meeting is there were certain allegations of governance, of ethics and transparency issues that were raised, and we initiated an independent investigation. And I'm very confident because this is the culture of the new CAF. We have put in place new personnel. We've created new positions whose exclusive duty is to look at governance, risk and compliance. Because part of my duty is not just to make sure that there's governance and ethics and world-class, well, global best practices of auditing practices, but to make sure that, you know, when I'm not president of CAF anymore, these structures, these changes that we've introduced, which are focused on ensuring that there's governance, ensuring that there's ethics, ensuring that there's auditing and accounting global best practices, I adhere to and I implement. And I'm very proud that we will get the report and the appropriate findings and the appropriate action will be taken. I'm very happy that some of our sponsors and international partners have consistently come back to me to say, President Motsepe, we've got a huge amount of confidence in the context of this new culture. And of course, you know, I've got my personal name and reputation to protect, and also the name and reputation of CAF to protect. So I'm confident that that appropriate steps are being taken, and we will look at the findings, and EXCO will implement whatever new suggestions and changes and whatever action that is required. Is there anything else that I forget? The other thing we discussed here was the CAF competitions and the dates. And let me conclude, because I need to allow you to also ask questions. Let me conclude by overemphasizing that, you know, in terms of any allegations, whether it's allegations concerning governance or ethics, the universal principle of innocence until proven guilty applies. It applies to everybody. We have a duty to maintain not just international jurisprudence, but also international principles of fairness, of justice, and equity. And we want CAF to function based on compliance and adherence of global best practices, because our reputation and our good name and our success long-term depends on that. Okay, let me conclude once more by thanking my vice presidents, the CAF vice presidents, and express my personal deep gratitude to the CAF General Secretary for his hard work and sacrifices, and to the CAF staff. Thank you so much, Samson, and all of you. I don't want to mention names. And Waberi, Madam Kaniza, and the good work that you are doing. And Hassan, I'll identify you because you're doing excellent work. And I feel sorry for the young ladies in my office and you know, all the ladies who are doing great work. And our goal is to make sure that African football is globally competitive and self-supporting. And we've made excellent progress. And you know, we are waiting for all of these other, you know, what excites me is just the passion of African football. And the number of countries, as I said, you know, 180 countries watched AFCON, and 2.4 billion views. 1.4 billion people were watching African football on TV. Beautiful. We gave $14 million to Cote d'Ivoire for football development. And we've significantly increased the prize money. And I'm going to increase the prize money for the CHAN, make an adjustment there. Because one of the feedbacks I've received is that with more money in the competitions and with the federations promising the players some of the money, if you win, goes into your pocket, it's beautiful. Because some of our players still in Africa don't make enough money. And that's part of our responsibility to make sure that African football players and African coaches are well paid. Okay, so let's take questions. I'm told this is going to be a short press conference, and so if you want to ask a question, I'm not used to people asking questions in English, you know, because I've spent a lot of time in Muito Obrigado. I had a wonderful press conference in Angola, and I had a most beautiful time, and really I'm so proud of President Ouattara and the passion for football in that country, in Cote d'Ivoire. Okay, let's go for questions.
Thank you, President. I'll just go, if you can just identify yourself and just your name and the organization you come from. The microphones are roving on the two sides. Thank you very much, sir. Asante.
Okay. Daniel Wahome.
Yeah, we can hear you, Daniel.
Daniel Wahome, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. For you, President, you mentioned about ethics, and I'll go straight to one. It's the financial status of CAF. And this is, we know that 2 PwC reports have been published about reforming CAF to make sure that there is better governance within the institution, and also reversing what was seen as a loss-making trend. What are the steps taken towards ensuring that CAF gets back to financial health?
Very, very good question. You know, CAF is in a much better financial position than it was before this leadership took over. by all standards, there's been a significant improvement. You know, we went from a deficit of about 50 million to a deficit of about 9 now. Yeah. Now, it's interesting. You know, when this leadership took over, there was a deficit of 50 million. There's a deficit of 9 million now for the current financial years. I could have had a positive balance of 20 million because we have indeed succeeded to make people understand that this new leadership in CAF, the money that we get from sponsors goes to where it's supposed to go. Football development for boys and girls, stadiums, academies, football infrastructure, and pay the players and the coaches and the staff, the people who work in every member association. You know, you will see when we go to the Ordinary General Assembly, we are now putting a proposal that the CAF, the member association presidents should get an allowance of $50,000 because some of them, many of them, don't have the resources. Of course, some don't need it because the governments and the countries are providing a huge amount of resources. So, as I said, we've taken a lot of money. You know, we could have had 20 million, maybe even 30 million, reflecting a positive. But the money must go to the member associations. The success of African football is not in the CAF headquarters. It's in Kenya. It's in Tanzania. It's in East Africa. It's in West Africa. It's in Sub-Saharan Africa. So the money that we make has to go to the member associations for development, and we've done good work with schools football. And as I always say, I'm proud because the Motsepe Foundation donated $10 million for schools football in the African Schools Championship. And that has attracted a lot of interest from others. So a lot of excellent progress with ethics and governance, enormous success. And part of that is reflected in including this report to say, but you've set such high standards, it could be that in some regards we are much better than where we were in terms of practices, but we are not at the high standards that the president has initiated. So I'm pleased, and we'll be making a few more announcements in terms of the competitions, the prize money, the focus as well to pay our staff. We want the CAF staff to be competitively paid. Next question.
We'll go this way. We'll go this side. Maybe we'll start with Yusine Mamadou and then the gentleman next to you from KD afterwards.
Okay. Since the president wants a question in French.
Okay. Please proceed in French.
I think a lot of the guys don't have the sound.
No. Mamadou, I've got 5 people next to me that just immediately translate and answer. And okay, it's good Mamadou. To see you, and thanks for the good work that you are doing.
Guy Mamadou from Super Sports South Africa. President, one question that is today in all the lips across the continent and beyond. Are you going to stand for re-election?
Well, you know, to be quite honest with you, it's a very simple question. Let me give you an example. I said to you, I think in the meeting earlier, there's approximately 80,000 employees in our companies, and if you add an extra 35,000 in a company where we are the biggest shareholder, from day one, my job was always to make a humble contribution to the development and growth of football on the continent, but equally to make sure that I have world-class leaders who can take over from me, not when there's the next election, but the duty of every leader. And I said earlier that part of the mistake I made in the past was whilst I was running an organization, I was asked to unite black and white business in South Africa. Complicated, emotional issue. And when I was there, everybody said, "Oh, excellent, it's going very well." And we put a succession in place, and then there were challenges when I left. So I was always very happy that, a leader should understand that if I go on the streets, there's a bus that comes, it knocks me down, and I go to heaven. I hope to go to heaven, not anywhere else. But the point is, Patrice Motsepe is dead. You should immediately, and that can happen a week after you're president of CAF. It can happen a month. There should immediately be leaders who can move in and continue the good work, and in some respects even do better than what you did when you were there. So I'm absolutely confident that I've got excellent vice presidents and people who can take over. The most unimportant thing in my mind is whether I'm going to continue or not, because we have together made a significant contribution to getting African football to an excellent level. I mean, I received an award from President Ouattara, the highest award in Ivory Coast. This is not an award for Patrice Motsepe. It's an award for the people who are sitting here. It's an award for the EXCO members whose life I've made difficult with all sorts of telephone calls and demands. It's an award for the 54 member associations. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I can tell you, you see, for me, it's a legacy. It's not a Patrice Motsepe legacy. It's a legacy of the leadership. It's a legacy of the 54 member associations, and I'm very confident that we have laid a good foundation, and we're hoping still to make a few new announcements in terms of some of the resources, financial resources, we hope to get into CAF, and the plans we have for further development. Let me say one other point, and I was hoping to say it at the Ordinary General Assembly. I may say it here as well. I've had two of our sponsors who said to me, if you don't continue, we might not support CAF. We might not continue to sponsor CAF. And I said to them, if that's the basis on which, he knows one of them, if that's the basis on which you want to support, don't support us. I'd rather you don't, because we never build institutions around individuals. You don't do that. You never do that. We had an exceptional leader called Nelson Mandela, and he set a good example to say, you build world-class support, leadership, succession, and they continue the work. And there was another sponsor who was going to give us a huge amount of money. And of course, they had their own challenges. And one of their prompts was exactly the same prompt. We will give you money for CAF if you guarantee us that you'll be there, you'll be there after your period comes to an end. And my answer is very simple: keep your money. Because I'm not sure that your commitment and your vision of what should happen in African football is the same that I have. So I want to conclude, I have total confidence that African football will grow and succeed, irrespective of whether I'm president or not. Next question.
I'll take the question, the gentleman next to Mamadou, and then I'll come this side.
Thanks. My name is Eric from Radio Africa. My question to you, Patrice, I think, obviously you've not said to us that you're going to vie or not, but do you think that you deserve a second term from the CAF Association President? And concerning Chan, I think it's a question that I've asked you like the last 3 times. You don't seem to give us like an exact date. You mentioned February, but we know we still need to go through the qualifiers. You've said you're coming back here again in December.
Excellent question.
Yes,
excellent.
thank you.
And they've announced the qualifiers. We took decisions now. I'll ask my vice president to comment on the qualifiers and the process, but that's excellent. We've set a date. It's February 1, eh? My apologies. You have the chairman of the, let's ask the chairman of the CHAN to comment on that. And just before he answers, do I think, yeah, I'll come. Do I think I deserve a second term? Let me make it very clear to you. You know, many young Africans are watching the way that we provide leadership on the continent. And my concern has always been, you know, there's a time to come and there's a time to go. And my starting point from day one is not, from day one, it's not whether, you know, I deserve a second term or what. My position has always been from day one, I should be capable of being replaced instantaneously. And I'm confident that I can be replaced immediately because the good work will continue. Can you go to the other issue, the other more exciting question?
Thank you, President. I think the question was when is the kickoff of the competition? Is on the 28th February, next February. That's the question. I think it was the date, 28th. First February to 28th. Yes, sorry, I'm sorry. 1st February to 28th. Kickoff 1st February. 1st February to 28th.
And qualifiers?
Qualifiers is going to be, I mean, in October. Samson is October, December. That's the period. October, December. Yeah. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
The first round will start in 25 to 27 October. I'm under control of the director of competition is here.
You're correct, sir.
Is correct? Yes, thank you.
Now let me say something very important. And thanks for that question. The calendar is congested. And historically, some of the countries had the choice of not participating in the CHAN, and we've changed it. Because you can't choose and say, I like this one, I don't like this one. You participate in all competitions. But the beauty of the CAN is many of the member associations that don't qualify for the AFCON, this is the ultimate. But the other issue is that even if the overseas players are not here, this is where we have to build depth. We have to allow some of our most talented young African players to say to the coaches, you know what, I may not be playing in Europe, but I am as good as the best, not just in Africa, but as good as the best in the world. So that's partly why I'm increasing the prize money. I mean, at the minimum, I don't know, what is the prize money now for winning the CHAN? Because we increased it, how much? Yeah, so we've increased it significantly from what it was in the past. And I don't want to give the number now because I first want to get a bit of advice from, you know, with the Motsepe Foundation, I make commitments without the trustees. I can't here, I've got to go and get, so we will, it's an exceptional opportunity for the most talented African players. There will be a competition because some of your still participating in their competitions. But it's perfect. Let's get the most talented young African players to go and compete because those players in CHAN now are tomorrow's winners of the CAN, and as we have also said, or AFCON as you'd call it, is the confidence we have that an African nation will be champions of the world, of the FIFA World Cup.
Thank you. President, we move this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are the ladies, man? Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Thank you. My name is Jacob Isia from Royal Media Services. And President, when I look at fixtures of AFCON qualifiers, I see many times countries playing home matches away from home, many of them. And I ask the question, does it bother you as a leader, and what can be the strategic
What,
steps
what,
to
a,
be
what a
taken?
brilliant question. I'm sorry to interrupt. What a brilliant, brilliant question. There's nothing that frustrates me more than a national team or a football team from Kenya, bad example, because you've got wonderful facilities, but from a country to go and play outside. You can't build football in any country in Africa if the national team or the football clubs do not play in front of their nations. And that's why the passion of President Ruto and his commitment makes me so proud. Makes me so proud. And he doesn't just love football. You know, when I went to see Talanta, they said the president has been here himself to investigate and to see the work that's been done. So I'm very clear that we've made good success in reducing the number of countries that plays outside their nation. But you know, in every meeting I have with the head of state, and that's why, you know, the relationship between Nick and the government, it's something that I'm very happy about. Because in every country, the emphasis is, let's work together to make sure that we've got at least one stadium that's at the FIFA and CAF standards. And that's partly why this increase of money that we've been fighting for, you know, we've doubled what the member associations are getting now. The gentleman was asking about ethics. Very important question, the financial position. You know, we've doubled the money, you know, of what the member associations are getting, but we need much, much more. So, excellent question. And I was in Rwanda, they opened a new stadium. I was in Senegal, they opened a new stadium. In Cameroon, excellent. Mamadou in Côte d'Ivoire, world class. Djibouti also is doing good progress. Comoros. So that's one of the things that we emphasize with each president, to say, let's work together. It's good for our people in the country, and it's good for football development. Let's go on.
I'll go to the back, and then I'll move to this side afterwards. I think that, well, let's go to the lady first, Collins. I'll come back to you, I promise.
We're going to finish. We're going to finish
Sadiq, I'll come to you in a bit.
quicker and sooner than what all of us think, because I know you have to go for lunch as well.
Mr. President, welcome to Kenya.
You must say welcome home.
Welcome home.
Beautiful. Kenya is our home. Kenya is my home.
You should have seen the excitement that we had here when East Africa was announced as the host of. So my name is Eileen. I work for the French news agency AFP. I wanted to know the fate of the African Football League.
Yeah.
The second edition, when will it be played?
Good question.
Everybody's.
And I want to see Kenyan clubs playing in that competition. Now, we've had the most successful African Football League. We are having sponsors, you know, pushing each other in terms of what they want to contribute. Of course, next year we also have the FIFA Club World Cup. So we're absolutely happy with the progress and the success. And of course, there was a challenge. You know, are you going to make the African Football League to be even better than the Champions League? one of the main reasons I wanted the African Football League is because it was going to give me money that was going to go to the member associations for football development. Because, you know, when you become president, you inherit competitions, and those transactions have been concluded. And I'm happy that I've managed to persuade some of the sponsors who didn't have to pay us more, because we were locked into agreements that were concluded. And of course, we paid $50 million. Richard, $50 million to Lagadia. Yes. Yeah. We paid $50 million to Lagadia from money we didn't have, but it was CAF's money that we were able to generate and make sure that we could now negotiate in our own right and make sure that when we talk to sponsors, we say to them, you know, look at the African football. We need as much money as possible, and that money is going to developing and growing football for young boys and girls. So the African Football League, the plan at this stage is that it's going to start next year. And every time I say that, the Premier Leagues and everybody say, please, President, but there are ongoing discussions. Just one final point, and we could announce this zone, this region, because it was the most beautiful coming together of 160 million people, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. And of course it's about football, but the benefits will enormously, immensely surpass. There are going to be hundreds of thousands of people who are going to come here, not just to watch the football. They'll want to stay in hotels. They'll want to go on safari. They are tourists. And many of them who, we had 5 million people in Brazil watching the AFCON. And that's why we're saying the $1.5 billion that the economy of Cote d'Ivoire benefited from the AFCON it's something that excites us immensely, because also it'll allow trade and partnerships and investments and the doing of business amongst our people in East Africa. This is what we want. And the economic success and the business success means that our middle class is growing, more jobs, more income, and more disposable income to come and watch football. I'm not saying how much do people have to buy for a ticket for a football match, Nick? It's very cheap, eh?
In Kenya, what you call Russia is 200.
200. It's 200 shillings, yeah.
200 shillings about $20.
Yeah. So it's so our people want, when they spend those $3, it must be the best $3. The value they must get for watching football must be enormously exciting and fulfilling. Next.
I'll go to there, and then I come back that side.
Right. Elijah Uko here from...
So you've given me the permission now. I'm going to be shorter in answering the questions, because I've laid a big foundation for me just to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Okay, please proceed.
Thank you. Elijah Uko here from Nation Media Group. CAF President, welcome to Kenya. When it was announced that Kenya and East Africa as a whole have won the rights to host AFCON, it was well welcomed, and I can see there are concerted efforts between CAF, the governments of East Africa, together with the federations, to ensure that we have a wonderful AFCON come 2027. I just wanted to find out, because this is not the first time that Kenya has won the hosting rights, I just wanted to find out what exactly CAF is helping with the respective governments, and also with Kenya to be specific, okay, on trying to ensure that we have a successful AFCON come 2027. And number two, this year we're going to be having our elections, the FKF elections. And of course...
Sorry, which elections?
FKF.
Kenya elections. Oh, FKN. I thought you meant the United Nations General Assembly. So there's going to be elections in Kenya.
We're going to be having the elections in Kenya. And I wanted to find out because we are going to be preparing for Chan in February, how important is it that CAF helps Kenya to have a smooth election period? Because we've been having plenty of interference with court cases when it comes to elections.
Yeah. Very good question. And I can tell you, I just like the commitment to democracy, to legality, to due process that this country has upheld for many, many years. Our partnership with the government of Kenya, I mean, we bring world-class football expertise and knowledge and experience. And hand in hand with the government of Kenya, we want to make sure that you're going to have 19 countries participating in the Chan. So you'll have, from all over the continent, you're going to have thousands of people come to watch football, to watch their national teams, but also they'll take time they want to enjoy this beautiful country. So each party brings its unique skills and expertise. The government makes a contribution on their side in terms of the infrastructure, the facilities. We are in a great hotel. There are great hotels. The hospitals that we need, the football pitches for training. So there's a huge amount of mutual cooperation. there's going to be a team of CAF people who are going to come here at least a month in advance, and they'll be staying here. And already now there's numerous delegations coming, and people are staying here to check and recheck, because we also have our reputation to uphold and our name to protect. Concerning the elections, I'm very confident that the elections will go very well, and the Kenyan football leadership will continue to choose leaders that they have confidence in. And the government of Kenya and CAF, and I'm confident to say so, all of us will work together to support the new leadership. As much as right now, all of us are working together to support the president and the leadership of football now.
Okay, Sadiq, maybe you should have the last question. Did you think so?
Thank you very much. We'll take four last questions.
All right, President Sadiq.
Thank you very much, President. I'm here. I know the light is right above my head.
And the light is also in my eyes, but I can see you, Sadiq.
I'm not a bot, so it's me. You can look at me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. My name is Sadiq from China Global Television Network. Mr. President, if you were to remain here for a few more minutes and then buy a newspaper tomorrow, what would the headline be, if you like to see? Motsepe running for second election, or some...
Let me tell you something.
Because that is what I'm afraid, sir. As you say, you're welcoming home. We have to make you feel at home and get this question from you so that we avoid any gray area here, because again, a lot at stake here. So I'd shoot this question to you straight up again and say, if the media were to write an article tomorrow, what would it be? That the president of CAF, Patrice Motsepe, is standing for next, or he still has not yet decided whether he wants to run? And someone has asked you here, why should the delegates again feel the need to give you another chance to run football in Africa for the next term?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you. Let me start with the easy one. What would I like to see the headline of the newspapers tomorrow? Very simple. The Chan in February in Kenya and in Tanzania and in Uganda is going to be the most successful ever. Now, you know, that's the headline. And then there's a big gap between the second question that you asked, which is which amuses me, but which is, and let me tell you why. Because you've got to be careful that leaders understand that, you know, you are leading at the will of the people. You know, we have it's not just about football. It's about various other responsibilities we have on the continent. Let me give you a better example. There's I was going to talk about a country, but I realized there's confidential issues there, so let me not rather mention that country. So we have to step aside. We have to step aside from this failure to recognize that there's an exceptional body of talent in our countries. And there's an exceptional body of talent in the leadership of CAF, and an exceptional body of talent in the 54 member associations. The most, and I mean this genuinely, the most unimportant question is whether I'm going to continue next year or not. Totally. Am I uncertain? I'm absolutely certain. I'm absolutely certain in my mind that my job is to make sure that there's capable, excellent leadership, and there is capable, excellent leadership. And this organization will continue to do well with or without me. We must stop making the success of institutions depend on individuals. And part of the responsibility is the leaders of those institutions, that they build a body of leaders. So with your permission, we're not going to ask questions anymore about whether, you know, the question that he asked. I don't even want to say it. And to emphasize that and to emphasize, I've given you the headline, the most successful CHAN ever. And after Morocco, because I can't comment on, I may not comment on AFCON 2027 because I've got to focus on AFCON 2025. Can you imagine now if I were to say that AFCON 27 is going to be the best ever? By implication, I mean AFCON 25 might not, but I can tell you, AFCON 2027 is going to be an enormous, enormous success. You know, I've been in the commitment and the passion of the heads of state, President Ruto, Madame Samia, President Museveni. This part of the world is going through an exciting period. And we are privileged that we can make a small contribution through football. We've always known that this part of the world has got exceptional people. We'll be here next year, of course, to celebrate CHAN.
I'll go to the middle.
President, my name is Moses Wahisi, the Secretary General of Sports Journalists Association of Kenya. My question is about governance, and I ask because I know we have a lot of issues, allegations or not, but what is your stand in issues to do with corruption, in issues to do with bad governance that has tainted the African football image for a number of years, and maybe what will be your word to your executive and also to all African leaders that in one way or another might be the people who propagate and fuel this issue to do with the nightmarish agendas of bad governance and corruption and mismanagement of finances.
And I want to thank you for that question because, you know, we are trying to make a humble contribution towards governance, not just in football, but in our societies, in our communities, in our countries. We owe it to our youth. We owe it to the next generation that we try and behave in a manner that reflects fairness, that reflects equity, that reflects democracy, and importantly reflects an opportunity for others who don't just disagree, but who want to criticize us for deficiencies and weaknesses in what we do. So for me, President Ruto, I mean, there's a new wave of African leaders, and also because, you know, we love this continent so much, and believe in it so much, that we have to behave in a manner and conduct our activities in a manner that reflects our deep commitment to ethics and governance. And so and of course, the final thing I want to say, our people are not unintelligent. Now, unintelligent means stupid. Our people are not stupid. They can see if we say one thing and we do something else. They can see it. So we want to make sure that we walk the talk, we do the things that reflects governance and ethics. And I can tell you in CAF now, the commitment to, I mean, I've read all of these things. I've looked at everything where there's a complaint across the board, and it's good. We want people to tell us what they think. It's irrelevant whether we agree or disagree. We've got to listen and try and improve because that is the objective. Next question.
We'll go to the back, and I guess any.
Okay. I hope you guys are as hungry as I am, eh? Yes?
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Paul Nzioki, Radio France International Kiswahili Service. We've talked about ethics and corruption. Please say something about security. We've been having issues when football clubs are playing in the CAF Champions League and in the Confederation Cup, especially in the away matches. I'm sure those who followed Simba versus Al Ahly Tripoli yesterday in Libya saw what happened. What is your stand as CAF?
Where did Simba play? Did you say Simba?
Yes, Simba are playing against Al Ahly Tripoli yesterday. We've been having problems when football clubs
In Tanzania?
Yeah, they were playing in Libya yesterday in the CAF Confederation Cup.
In Libya? Yeah. Well, let me tell you, we have significantly improved the security, and we've had good cooperation from many African governments, because spectators will not come to the stadium if they feel unsafe or insecure. So we have to consistently make sure that people who go and watch football, we've taken all the necessary security preventative measures, and when there are failures, we don't just investigate, but we keep those responsible. Those who may have failed will be kept to account. So the security issue is a matter that enjoys our primary concern, and if you, I think this Simba thing you want to say something? Yeah.
I want just to thank you, President, to add that we have conducted now, the seminar for the safety and security for all our 6 regions, and this is because we raise the bar of safety security, and not only the CAF of security officer will participate, but the government people also, because they are the chain of safety security when the game is playing. They are CAF and public authority as well. So in this area, we are doing, I can say we are doing very well. And the government also, they are happy and agree with what we are doing with them. Thank you.
Yeah, but I want to thank you, just to add on what he said, thank you for that method, that game you spoke about specifically, so that we can look at that and get a report on that. Any question? Yes? I'm happy that everybody has had a chance to ask questions now. Because the next time I'm in Kenya will be in December, and it will be at that time just to set us, and I'll be going to Kenya. It'll be the same trip, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, to satisfy myself that huge progress has been made. There may be a few things outstanding, and getting ready for February, for the CHAN.
Bonjour à tous. My name is Vincent from MediaMax.
Nobody asked questions in Swahili or...
You know Swahili?
Yeah, they'll translate. Sengo is from West Africa, but he speaks Swahili. One of... No, please go ahead. You can ask in English. Yeah.
Swahili. English. Okay. Mr. President, as you leave Kenya, do you have anything to worry about?
Do I have anything to worry about?
Yes. Have you set deadlines in terms of infrastructure? From where you sit, where are we in terms of preparations?
Good question.
To
Yeah.
As far as CHAN is concerned,
Yeah.
because of the time limit, it's a race against time. You met President Ruto. What is the message from him that there is this commitment that all is well as far as CHAN is concerned?
Yeah. Excellent question, because remember, the CHAN for us, it's an incredible foundation for AFCON. Because we're going to have many people come now, but when the AFCON comes, it's going to be absolutely, I look at your roads, I mean, this country is incredible. And the people of this country are, my son phoned me from LA. He said, but how can you go to Kenya and you didn't tell me? So I said, but what do you mean? He says, I want to come with you. I said, but you can't from LA. He said, no. That's not your problem, that's mine. So I said, no, I'm arriving and I'm leaving the following day. But, we went to Ngorongoro, we went to Masai Mara. This is an exceptional country with exceptional people. So you've asked, what is my impression as I leave? I'm excited because through football, we believe we can make a humble contribution to the development and growth of football in this country, because Kenya deserves to be one of the best football nations in Africa. You know, I look at it's a very wonderful Kenyan, he's clapping hands. I look at Mamadou. When we were in Cote d'Ivoire, I mean, hundreds and thousands of people, young women, and the women who are not young, you can't say old women, and the women who are not so young boys, young girls in the streets, jumping and dancing and singing, because Cote d'Ivoire was playing, because Cote d'Ivoire had been winning. I mean, you feel so proud, and you feel a bit emotional as well. And that's why Nick is here. As president of CAF, I want all the nations to win. I may not have one nation above others, but I can, having said that, Kenya should be winning. Is reminding me that, you know, the first time when as soon as I got out of the plane, he said to me, President, I'm number one in my group. I said, you see, you are talking the language I like, because now the president here, he won a competition, I can't tell you which one. It's not the AFCON. But he won it against the host nation. And he looked at me in the eyes, he says, President, you don't look happy. I said, but what do you mean I don't look happy? He says, no, you know, but it was the final, so it's okay. So we need, in the CHAN, for Kenya to keep winning, I can't say they must win against African nations, against European nations in the CHAN, or any others. Because it, you know, the excitement, the attendance of the stadium, the self-belief. Young boys and girls who may not even be playing football look at the national team and say, look how well they're doing. I believe I can become a doctor. I can become an engineer. I can become whatever I want through hard work. Look at how Kenya is doing. Look at the Kenyan athletes. The Kenyan athletes, when they win, they don't just make Kenya proud. They make all Africans, from Cape Town to Cairo, from Dakar to Nairobi. It's a moment of pride, and we want the same in football. So as I leave, what is my impression of confidence? Because I trust President Ruto. Is there a lot of work to be done? Yes. There's still a lot of work to be done, but I trust him because he's a man of his word, and also because, sorry, let me talk about football. Yeah, let's talk about football. I just realized that somebody said, President, what you are saying can be interpreted in many ways. Let's talk football. Football. And let's talk football. Because, you know, good things come out of football. And you must remind me about politics when I'm so I must tell you, I've got total confidence because at the end of the day, all that we have, you know, it's not the bank account or the authorities. Always, if I can't do something, I tell you up front, I can't do it. I'm not going to make a promise I cannot keep. And so I leave here and I'm very confident and I'm coming back. And I can tell you together, all of you in this room, all of us, we're going to have a successful CHAN. And let me tell you something else as well. We've got to see ourselves as part of this new generation of Africans. And through football, we are proving to our people in Africa and to the world that we are as good as the best in the world. In football, but in every other respect outside football. So thank you very much. Wish you all of the best. See you in December. Thank you.
Thank you, President.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, over. That was live from Kinpiski, where we were broadcasting the press conference of CAF concerning the preparation of the forthcoming Africa Cup of Nations. So, thank you once again for watching. We'll keep you posted. This is GSS Media, out and over.
You